Jewish population arrived in this area during the 1880s. Well, by and large, many of them came from Eastern Europe, Germany, Austria, Poland, those countries. They came through the port of Baltimore, and many came through Ellis Island in New York. With my particular family, most of them came through the port of Baltimore, and they just kind of migrated down the coast until they got to Hampton, Newport News. There was discrimination in Europe. Of course, there's been discrimination in this country, but they wanted to find a better life. They wanted education for their children. They wanted a place to worship that would be safe on the Sabbath and where they could go and make their mark. And I think that they have done very well. Some of the early settlers opened small stores, whether they be furniture stores, produce, merchandising.
I came from New York originally, and there the Jewish people were very dispersed. Some belonged to congregations, synagogues, and other organizations, but here it seems to be a consolidation of activity. There are only about 3,000 Jews in the entire community, and somehow they all seem to help one another and be involved. Very friendly, they all got involved in activities here.
One of the more flamboyant members of the Jewish community was Judge Macy Carmel. That if you brought a client in and they weren't clean shaven and they didn't have the proper haircut, they were going to be in trouble. He was so respected for his many years of service as a jurist in the city of Hampton that they named the Center for Justice, the Carmel Center for Justice, after him. As a young woman and as a student, you just studied hard and tried to go to a good college. After I graduated and I came back and worked for the Daily Press as a reporter and then an editor, I faced much of the discrimination that other minority groups. A, I was a woman, which is a minority group even today, and B, I was a Jewish woman. And being realistic, Jewish people still face discrimination in many parts of the South and throughout the nation. So a big emphasis was on education, and literally all the children that I can remember or that I've known in my lifetime, were expected to really seek higher education. So they went on to college and graduate school, and they came back here and they became our doctors and our lawyers and architects, and they helped build Hampton and Newport News, what we know as the peninsula today.
That many people in a community such as this knew very few Jewish people. As a matter of fact, I had a friend of mine where I was working come over to visit me one day, and he looked around at the house that I came in, and he said, "Gee whiz, you live like everyone else does."